All right, and welcome to the personalized learning adventure, because it is truly an adventure. It takes some planning and preparation and a lot of hard work to bring this type of experience to your students. But I want to just say I am grateful that you are willing to take on this challenge. So let's begin here in your Google Drive. This is the place that needs to be organized so that you can keep things in a place that you know where to find them. And so this is my Google Drive. If yours looks more like this, it might be because your Google Drive is in list view. That might be good for you. I personally like grid view because I'm more of a visual learner. So therefore, I've got my documents below here. That's just on my homepage. These are the ones I use all the time. These folders, though, are like the different hats that I wear here as a science teacher at Polaris. And so one of the ones that I use the most and the one that I have for my science classroom is here housed in my science folder. So in my science folder, I've got my Google site right here. I call it the Sci-Hub. And in order to make a site, I want to show you that path. Now, this Google site is it is the hub of what students end up seeing, but I keep all the different assignments in these separate folders, which are the basic units that I'm teaching throughout. So it's important to keep folders of the topics that you're going to put on your website. But the website, I use it a lot, so I keep it out in the open here. So if you are ready to make your Google site, let's go ahead and get started. You're going to go up here to New, and you have to go down to the More menu. And the bottom of the More menu is where we find Google Sites. So if you click that, the magician behind the computer screen is going to introduce you to your Google site. All right, now some things to consider. There's lots going on here. But basically, you need to title your site and don't just start putting stuff into your site yet. I would suggest the first thing you do is go to the top here on the right and click Themes. Click something that feels good to you, something that fits your style, that fits the style of your classroom and kind of the goals of your content. Okay, start thinking about what you want it to look like and use this as a guide. I must say, I was a little bit disappointed when I got in here. I was like, wow, these are way too simple. There's not enough color choices. There's not enough fonts. I can't move things as much. But let that go and just allow simplicity to be your guide, because it will truly suit you as you get deeper and deeper into this to have simplicity, because it makes it much easier the simpler it is. So choose something and go with it and move on. So choose your theme, and then you're going to go to your Insert menu. So let's say I'm making a site here about food. So maybe I title the top food here. And if I want to then start inserting things, you can use these handy dandy layouts right here if you want as your guide. So you could put something in here where maybe I put like different types of cuisines here that students could click on and visit the different types of cuisines. And really, this is your ability to use your creativity. So you can use the layouts. If you just click text box, that's how you can get a different text in here. And the more you click, the more you're going to understand. So you can change. There's only a few different types of fonts and sizes of fonts that you can use based on these pre-slugged things. But again, start to develop a pattern so that you can continue to use that pattern throughout your website. And I, again, have been frustrated by this at times where I'm like, ooh, I want that to be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, but just go with it and trust that simplicity is going to really help you out. So you can add buttons in here. So let's say that this is a food button and it links to www.food.com. And so you can link buttons to websites or even other pages within your website. So there we go. There's my food button. Now, if I want to move that around, I can slide it along. It'll give me little helpers to put it in the middle. And so you can move these items. You can make them bigger or smaller and put them where you want. You can add YouTube videos. And so these YouTube videos, you can actually search YouTube right here from Google Sites. So 42 foods you need to eat before you die. Hopefully none of them will cause death. But, anyway. All right, you can add those YouTube videos. You can make them bigger or smaller. This is a huge help. I use a lot of YouTube videos in my site. I even have a calendar in my site. So if I want to put my first period science, this is a calendar that I created from my Google Classroom. You can find tutorials on how to do that on YouTube, actually. So you can add calendars. You can add maps. So if I want to find a city called Food, let's just say I'm going to select that. Let's see what happens. All right, so it's going to put my, there we go. I've got my map in there. So I've actually never added a map, so that was new for me. You can add a Google Doc into the framework of the Google Sites. You can add Google Slides if you have a slideshow or something you want students to watch, a Google Sheets, a form, or a chart. Now, actually, the only things that I really add are buttons and text, because when I want to add a Google form or a Google Sheet or something, I typically relate it back to, or I link it back to the students' Google Classrooms. But, use this, click around, and just practice, mess around for a little bit. You can use images, so I can upload one, or I can actually select one from my Google Drive. And depending on the speed of your computer, all of this will work slower or faster than mine here, which I'm seeing some slowness here on my end of things. But again, you can upload your own file if you wanted for pictures. And so again, start simple, keep it simple. The more simple it is in the beginning, the better off you are. So once you get yourself a nice page and you want to start adding more pages to your site, you can come here to the pages and click plus, and I put new page. So if I called this, for example, maybe I want to make a page about American cuisine, I would put American, and you can now see that I've got up here on the top, it's going to start adding different hyperlinks that I can use to click between the different pages. So I can now make a new page that's related to a different type of cuisine, or if I really like the format of my homepage and I wanted to extend my homepage or use it, if I want to use the format of my homepage for something else, I can click these three dots. These three dots will allow me to duplicate my page. I can name it something new, but if I just keep it copy of home, what we're going to find is that when this page gets created, it has the same stuff as my home screen. And so now I could change my text, or I could add in different video, but it keeps the same type of design. So I use this a lot by copying pages, but we'll see that later on as we dig into my Google site. So hopefully this was a proper introduction to Google Sites. I guess the last thing that I would add is that when you're ready, you can hit publish, and you get to choose a web address, which it will have this kind of starter web address and then whatever's after. So maybe I'll call this food for you. I'll publish that. And then once it's published, I can then share that link with students. So I can view my published site and actually get an idea of what it looks like. And this is where you can really, truly get an idea of what students are going to see and experience. So welcome to Google Sites. I hope that this kind of gives you some ideas, but the best thing you can do is go click around yourself to kind of get an idea of what this will look like for you and how you can use it.